Hello there, and welcome to our first live of the new year. I'm going to invite our guests today. I'm going live with Beth Shaver, who joined us for a program for CRPS, Complex Regional Pain Syndrome. And look, Beth!
I made it! Yay!
You made it! I always feel like it's a miracle when this works. And you did it so fast.
Oh, well, thank you for all the directions you gave me.
I'm just so happy to see you.
Yeah, I know.
Smiling
Nice.
here.
Yeah. So good to see you.
It's great to see you. And we have a lot of people joining us live, which is awesome. Welcome, everyone. And I kind of want to just dive right in. I will introduce myself for folks if we haven't met. My name is Julie Hirschberg, and I'm a neurologic physical therapist. And I am so lucky to work with an amazing team at Reactive Therapy and Wellness. And I think I was the first person to meet you, right, Beth?
Yes, you were. Yeah.
I feel so lucky. So I met Beth for a consultation for our integrated programs. It feels like a long time ago, Beth.
Months ago.
It was months
Almost
ago.
a year ago or something. It feels like it was that long.
Yeah, it was a long time ago. I met Beth, and then I met with her physical therapist there in Texas. And, you know, we went back and forth on lots of things, tried to make insurance work and all kinds of things. But bottom line, finally got to meet you in person, have you work with our team recently, and now you're back home. And I'm excited to catch up. But I know most folks who watch our videos or tune in live, they're either clinicians, so PTs, OTs, psychologists who are really wanting to learn more. And I tell people every single day that I learn the most, not from a book or a class, but from you, Beth, and people like you. So I just want to thank you in advance for sharing.
Thank you for inviting me.
We have other folks, folks with neurologic disorders, folks with CRPS, and they want to learn and know too, and they just love to hear your story. So with that intro, you know, I hope that you don't mind sharing your story and maybe a little bit about, you know, what was happening before you came to Reactive, and of course share as little or as much as you want to for everybody.
I will try to give a Cliff Notes version because it is a long story, but yeah, thank you so much. Well, my journey starts off in 2011, so I'm 35, so that would put me like in the 20s, I guess, when I was in my 20s, which feels like a long time ago. But anyway, in 2011, I was playing soccer. I grew up as an athlete, so soccer was my sport. And of course, I'm playing soccer, and I get injured, and I injured my ankle, my right ankle, and that injury led to 4 surgeries at that time. And during that, I had complications in those surgeries that led to CRPS type 2 after there was an injury to a nerve. And at that time, the treatment was really like try nerve blocks and see if you can desensitize the limb and things like that. But those were not really working. And so I ended up traveling to the Mayo Clinic in Minnesota to see if they could help. And I live in Texas, so it was kind of a long way, but I was willing to go anywhere. And I had gone to the Mayo Clinic and also to Johns Hopkins, and just tried like some infusion therapy things that they were trialing and stuff like that, and tried a lot of different, anything that anyone wanted to try, like I was down to try it. And so I kind of traveled the US, like just trying different treatments, and I wasn't making a lot of improvement. And I was on crutches during that time. I just couldn't weight bear with the pain. And I think I remember people like the doctors at the Mayo Clinic and stuff saying like, I'm so sorry, but there's really nothing else we can do. You're just gonna have to try pain management. And I was like, no, that's not going to work for me because I have to get back to running. Like I'm a runner. I need to be able to walk too. And I have so much of my life left. And I just decided like, I'm going to keep looking. And so that's actually how I then entered the Hanger Clinic, which is where I got fit for an exosim kind of exoskeleton type offloading brace that was really helpful for me. And that was in 2013. So about like 2 years had gone in between that time. And that device was like really helpful for me. And that was in Washington State. So now I'm like going this way across the country, this way. And so yeah, that device was really helpful when I was able to like walk and run again, and my CRPS had really stabilized, like being able to weight bear again in a way that offloaded my injury, and also like just really helped me in my CRPS. And so I got back to like running again and such. But because I am so active, I also just do a lot of probably like adventurous things. And I fell from a rope in 2016, around 2016, and landed on my bad leg again in the device. But I did, that was a really long fall onto a concrete floor. And that is really like what set me back again onto like this other path. And so when I fell, I shattered part of my heel. I had just like really bad injuries all throughout my right leg, and I had to go back on crutches and like take the brace off. And I ended up going through, I want to say like at least 14 or 15 more surgeries after that. Um, and it was really hard. That was a very difficult time for me because I had like a taste of freedom and then I lost it again. And it just was like, how's this happening? Um, and so I went back on crutches, and that was around 2017, 2018. And I was on crutches from 2018 until I came to the program with you guys in November. And so that is like 6.5 years again on crutches, and that really wore me down as a person. I think it's really hard when you have like when you know what it feels like to be able to live life normally, and then you lose that, and then you get back and then you lose it again. Like that was just really hard. And I was undergoing ketamine infusions, like sometimes multiple days of that in the hospital. My CRPS had just gotten so bad from that fall, and I couldn't put the brace back on. I couldn't weight bear. I was just my quality of life had really, really diminished. And I like started off as a really positive person, I think. I would say like in 2011, and I thought like I was a strong person, but then like this over the last, at least the last several years, like I was losing, I was kind of like losing the will to like keep going. And it became just so hard with the pain. Like my life was just, I was in so much pain. I was on a lot of different medications, and we couldn't even my PT, like he's great, but we couldn't even keep working on things because of the pain. It was gotten so bad. And like this, there weren't any surgeries left to try. I had 3 nerve stimulators implanted in my leg, and I tried one in my spinal cord. So I was trying everything you could. I probably had more lumbar sympathetic blocks than you're supposed to. Like I just put it in me, like do whatever you need to do. I just wanted to get better, and I wanted to do anything, and I was desperate. And like I began to like just really lose like the will to keep going. I just didn't know if I could do it, and I never thought I would get to that place, but um I did. And like especially in the last year, it just became like, it just like broke me. And I I didn't know I could get to that low of a place. Um and I just didn't know like what options were left. So when I found reactive, it kind of felt like this is my last chance, or like this is the last thing I could try. And it felt like I felt like coming into the program, I was coming with that mindset of I've tried all these things and I'm like failing them or something. Like why am I not getting better? And why can I just, what's happening, you know? And so I just felt desperate because I was kind of like at the end of the rope. And so that was like kind of where I was at mentally and stuff when I entered the program.
Yeah, yeah. Thanks for sharing that. And what a long, long
Yes.
road that you have been on. That's like,
Yes.
just a long, windy up and down. And surgeries and so many things. I mean, I was just kind of in awe listening to that, and I'm sure a lot of people can relate to that too. So,
Mm-hmm.
thanks so much for sharing that and for being really honest of like, I just like wanted, how can someone bear so much,
Yeah,
right? Like, in all
it
honesty, it's a
can like,
lot.
yeah, it's hard. Like, I mean, I do think even with like the best intentions, after a while, like, I don't know. I just, when you can't get out of a situation and it's like hits you again every time you wake up in the morning, um, I just needed there to be like a different path forward, or else I didn't know if I was going to be able to keep going, you know? So, um, I think I found reactive at like a critical time, and I needed it because I didn't even know if like I would make it this long. I needed something quickly because it was really getting hard, you know?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And by the way, Olivia is saying you're a freaking rock
Oh, she
star,
was so
Beth.
awesome. Yeah, we both like connected at, yeah, we both connected at the program. She's cool.
Yeah, I love seeing people cheer each other on. And Lisa sharing your that you're an inspiration
Oh,
too.
sweet.
And so and I think the thing is, I remember meeting you, and I remember meeting your physical therapist too, who is a rock
Yeah,
star, like
he's
who is
awesome. Yeah.
amazing, right? And so you've had all of these, great resources and things,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm curious of, what drew you to reactive. I guess at that point you had not done kind of an integrated or
Right.
like multidisciplinary approach. Is that right?
Yeah, I had never done like I tried to honestly create my own integrated thing by trying to get everyone to be connected. And I think Ben, my PT, like really took the reins and like became kind of like the point person to help make that happen. And I really appreciate that about him. He like went above his job description. But yeah, I've never done an integrated type program like this. And to be honest, like I couldn't really find one either. Like I remember looking up I I feel like with CRPS, you almost have to do your own research as a patient because there's just like you got to figure it out yourself in some ways. And I looked at, I think it was just a couple of different like major hospitals across the country to see what they had, and a lot of it was for pediatric kids with CRPS, but it was really hard to find something like for adults. And a lot of what I found was just only for if you had chronic pain, and I just didn't feel like it really resonated with me. Um, and so, yeah, this finding reactive was really at the direction of my PT, who was like, "Hey, we really need to. I'm not gonna be able to help you in this. Only being able to come twice a week. Like, we're not getting to where we can even do anything at PT." And so he was the one who kind of thought of this with my doctor, and then that's kind of how we found you. And thankfully, with your Instagram, it was easy to find. Like, I think you do a good job of getting the word out, and I think that's really helpful because it can be hard to figure out like what direction to take.
Yeah. Well, now you're helping get the
Yeah.
word out. so so thank you. Now you're in Texas, so this was
Mm-hmm.
not an easy thing. You had to pick up and move across the country, and there were some barriers along the way just to get here. I know because every time I went into Kiana, she's our program manager's office,
Yeah.
she was like, I'm trying to
I
get
know.
Beth's, appointments approved and things like that. So,
Yeah.
did you have hesitations, or what were some of the barriers to get here?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, definitely shout out to Kiana because she's tried really hard with my insurance. I think, well, the first barrier was the insurance, and I remember joining one of your like office hour things, and I remember asking, well, what do people do if they can't afford it, or like if their insurance doesn't cover it? And you said something about the GoFundMe, and um, I was always like hesitant to do GoFundMe's because I hate nobody wants to ask for help. Like, I mean, I don't, at least I want to ask for help. And so, but I couldn't figure out how I was gonna make it there. Like, it didn't it didn't seem possible for me to be able to go without some type of support. And so, um, I guess my first hesitation was making the GoFundMe, but honestly, to my surprise, I was blown away by how quickly and how many people supported me. it actually like brought me to tears because I couldn't believe it. Like within 24 hours after posting it, I had not only met the goal, but like within 48 hours, I had more money and I was able to come for 6 weeks instead of 4 weeks, which was my initial goal. And so um, that was amazing. And I think I think that was the first hurdle, was just figuring out how to get there. But coming by myself out there, I that really was okay with me. Like I didn't mind traveling out there, and I was like, ready to do anything. I think my hesitation was like, what will I do if this doesn't work, or like what will be my next step, or how am I gonna go on if this doesn't work? And um, I think also I was worried about like all these people donated, and what if I don't get better? Like, well, is this, are people gonna wonder if it was worth their money? But I do think at the end of the day, as Mike, the psychologist of the program, would tell me, is people don't give to see a certain outcome necessarily. Like they want to help for because they want to help you as a person. And so I think I just kind of tried to hold on to that. Like even if the program, even if I didn't get better, I didn't know. I just kind of held on to the fact that like hopefully people wouldn't let anyone down. So I think my hesitations were like kind of around those things.
Yeah, yeah. And I think too, I think even when I meet somebody that is, like you, like, is this going to work? How do I
Mm-hmm.
know that this is
Yeah.
going to work? And, there's no guarantee, right?
Right.
I
I
don't
remember
have a
you saying
magic
that. Yeah.
pill or a cure. Certainly when people ask me if I have a cure, I go, no, I'm not in the cure, business.
I think
But
I
I
may have
think
asked you that.
you
Please,
might,
can you guarantee this?
yes, you might have asked because, and honestly, I think I would ask too. That's kind of my like logical mind would be like,
Yeah.
what kind of guarantee do we have here? And there's not. We know different people respond differently to things.
Mm-hmm.
We do know that people like you and people with CRPS and some of these other complex conditions do well with a team.
Yeah.
And the thing is, you were really open to working with the whole
Oh
team,
yeah.
and I think that really did. You came in with kind of a, a beginner's mind of like, I'm ready to learn. I'm ready to dive in. You work so hard, maybe sometimes too hard.
Yeah.
um, but um, but I think those are some of the things that we look for. Because sometimes people ask me too, like, well, how do I know if I'm like a good candidate for this? And I'm
Mm.
like, are you open to a whole person approach? Because that's brain, mind, body, all of the pieces. And some people aren't quite ready for that, but you came so open,
Yes,
Beth,
I
to
definitely want to. I think that's important. Yeah, because I mean, I could see how each person, like each team member on the whole of my whole team, like played a part, and I wanted that, and I think that was something I was excited about the program, was that it was integrated like that. So I am very thankful that you set it up in that way, because I think that was something I really needed.
yeah, yeah. And someone's even commenting here too. Definitely mindset and openness is
Hmm.
critical to recovery. Oh, also I love that you said this is Senora Barjona, maybe self-compassion and
Yeah,
patience.
patience. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'm hearing that from you too. Beth,
Yeah.
is like even some of those initial thoughts of like, will I be able to do well for the people that supported me? That those even evolved to like, okay, these people are just supporting me not for my outcome. And there's some, I
Hmm.
hear
Yeah.
self-compassion in
It
in
took
your
some
voice.
work to get there, but Mike would be
Oh,
proud.
oh my goodness, does it take work? I like have to work on this every day.
Yeah.
So I know it's not easy, and I know it's not easy for a lot of us that are really hard on ourselves. I think sometimes athletes too can have that
Hmm.
kind of mentality of like, I'm, I gotta get better. And, you
Yes.
kind of
Yeah.
are hard on yourself as a way to improve. And sometimes there's less space for self-compassion or,
Yeah.
um, mistakes or things like that. And it's nothing wrong or right about that. It's just, kind of
Yeah,
how we
it's
are.
like your mindset. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but this person, Senora, what a beautiful comment, because
Mm-hmm.
it's so true that those pieces are things that we see. And as you know, working with Mike, the psychologist, like really cultivate and build as part of the program.
Program. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And they allow you to physically make changes, right?
Yeah. I remember
Yeah.
telling Mike, like, if he hadn't been part of the program, like, it wouldn't have been the same. Like, I really needed everyone on the team. Harrison, Mike, Jenna, Dealey, all of them. Andrea, I could go on and on. I just loved the team so much. I honestly was so sad to leave because I just loved, the team was just so amazing, and everyone helped me in their own, like, lanes, but also together. And I think that was really helpful for
Yeah.
me.
Yeah. I had the great privilege to kind of meet with the team and
Mm-hmm.
and do things, and to see it come together, I always just feel like is magical. Now maybe you can share too, because you had it like this kind of big team: psychology, yoga therapy, PT, OT. I know you also did a lot of fun things while you were out here. You served and you
Oh gosh, I
did
missed that.
mirror. Oh my gosh, it was so great. Mirror therapy in the sand and stuff. But I wonder if you could talk a little bit about each of them and maybe what role they played for you, because I think for some people they're not sure how
Mhm.
like how each of those teams play together.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, honestly, before coming here, I never worked with occupational therapy. I actually was thinking, do I need that? But I mean, like, I'm glad I actually didn't know what they did, honestly, because no one had ever said, hey, you should do occupational therapy. I had just mainly done a traditional orthopedic type PT, that kind of thing. And so I will say that that part of the program was interesting to me because I didn't realize that there are so many things you can work on with your nervous system. And I think Jenna and Leanne had helped me kind of learn different techniques for calming my nervous system to help me manage the CRPS. And a lot of that for me had to do with like pacing. Like I tend to kind of push myself a lot, and I guess going back to like that athlete mindset, but also just when you're in pain, you kind of want to just push so you can sit down, like so you can crutch, and then I'll rest. Like I'll try to do all these things so then I can rest. And I think we had to take a big step back and kind of like approach that differently. And so we spent, of the 6 weeks there, like every single time I met with them, we were working on those type things. And the breathing, the leaf tool. I love the leaf tool. That is like my new companion. I love that thing. And so learning to like breathe better, I didn't realize I was holding my breath. And we worked on that. And just like finding different ways. I think when you're in pain, or at least for me, like I kind of stopped like feeling good sensations. So like I just so used to feeling pain that I didn't know there was like other positive sensations you could have really anymore. And so they were showing me like when you're in pain, you could try using, for me, like a weighted eye mask was helpful. Going through like the breathing, and also Leanne made the chill pill. Have you seen that? The like essential oil that is really nice. I actually
Oh,
made it at home. She showed me the recipe thing.
oh,
But that was really helpful. So I think for the OT side of things, we worked on also, yeah, I guess I forgot. Also, like a big part of it was playing the piano, because Jenna thought that it'd be nice for me to have some other activities besides just working on my leg and trying to get better. And so it was kind of like rebuilding my life in a way, because it had become so much of pain, appointments, sleep. Like, you know what I mean? It was so, I didn't really have a life anymore, honestly. I'm not even ashamed to say that because I didn't. And so I think they really helped me in that aspect. And honestly, Jenna would go out of her way. Like if I said, oh yeah, I'm interested in the piano, when she asked what kind of instrument, she went and got one and brought it the next day. And like we wanted to practice me walking my dog. and she went and got a dog. I mean, it was someone's dog, and we practiced that. And so um, she just like would always go above and beyond to like find things like that, and I really appreciate that about her. So I think that was really helpful. And then with the PT side of things, that was that awesome. I mean, like, I can say so many nice things about everyone, but Harrison and Dealey, and then Julie, the student, I forget her last name, but she was a part of my program for a little bit. And Harrison just had, well, Harrison had a good, actually, when I first met Harrison, I will say he kind of helped chill me out because I was really just like, hey, I'm kind of, like, I felt kind of intense, like tensed up anyway, you know, wanting the program to work and just feeling like a little bit tense about it. And Harrison was like, do you have a favorite song or like anything? Because y'all seem to have a lot of fun at the clinic. And I kind of stopped experiencing fun. And so when he said that, I remember thinking like, no, Harrison, I don't have a favorite song. And he was, I remember him being shocked by that. And so he wanted me to like go back and make a playlist. And Harrison kind of like cracked me open from the beginning because I think when you're in pain a lot, you also like fear that a little bit. And I think in order to kind of put that more in the back seat, we kind of needed to have fun. And so as much as like I never thought I would say fun is having fun is important like that, it really was because it lowers the like intensity level that you're feeling about the pain. And Harrison just had a lot of great ideas. Like both he and Brittany like came up with these great ideas for like the sensory things that were really helpful for me, like the A-strap, and also the straw, which I just, if you probably see me now, I just carry straws around.
I was waiting for the straw, Beth. Yes, you have to tell people
Yeah.
what it was about the straw.
So for me, the straw, like, okay, well, with the leaf tool, you know how it shows you where your HRV is. I think that Harrison was trying to help me take like a deep breath out. Like I wasn't holding my breath out long enough to create more of a relaxing state for the nervous system. And even if I tried, it wasn't natural for me. And so he had this great idea to use a straw. And I actually bought like a professional straw, but anyway, but this straw you can use very cheaply to find. But for me, it was really helpful because I can almost like feel how long I need to blow out. And I couldn't really do that without that kind of, I guess, kind of like feedback of, hey, like I will be able to hold it out longer if I'm using this because I can kind of tell when to stop breathing. And that just helped kind of, I guess, regulate my nervous system, I think. And that was a really big, I think, shift for us in the program because I was having like a hard time with that. And I think that idea was like really critical. That and the A-strap, I think, were like two of the biggest things for me that helped like sensory and autonomically. And those are things I never really, I guess, known about or tried or had that experience or been exposed to that. And so I'm really grateful that they came up with those ideas. And I think also just learning to like work with your nervous system. Harrison was good about like, we wouldn't start the PT session unless I was in the blue or green zone and kind of just like paying more attention to it instead of just forcing it. Because I mean, you can force yourself to do, well, I can force myself to do anything if I need to. And so I think for me, just learning to kind of like work with the nervous system and not against it was really helpful. And he helped me a lot with that. And Adili as well. And so actually, and then also Adili and Julie went to the beach with me. Adili and Jenna went to the beach with me, and we took the PT there and OT there one day. So they were just so nice. Like everybody tried so hard and went out of their way to just help me in so many unique ways. And I think even though I went to yoga only one time a week, I think that was still really important for me. And also got to work on my breathing during that time with Andrea, and she was very calming person. And then of course Mike, Mike was a big part of the program too with the psychology, and his spirit is like so calming. I think I
Mm.
want to bottle that up and you know what I mean? He's just a calm person, and it was
Yeah.
nice. Sometimes he would join like in person or when he could, and then other times he would be joining from the screen and during the sessions and kind of like co-treating, and so that was really helpful. And then we would meet like during the week as well, just one-on-one, and he just kind of helped me like process the experience. And so I think all of that together and having everyone kind of work in tandem was really helpful. I just loved that there was like a coordination, and I think it excelled my progress because um, I know like at home at least, like when you have to get your doctor to talk to your PT, to talk to your, you know what, to connect everyone can take time, and that also kind of have to like wait on them to connect. And so just having that all happen seamlessly in a short period of time was we were able to like make changes where it was needed. And I think the program being structured to where I could go every single day, multiple hours a day for 6 weeks was like just so important. I really needed that intensity um, and that number of visits, and just it's just everything about the program was perfect. The only thing that I wished is that I could have stayed longer.
Well, and we should say it's not like it's all roses either, because I remember being at the clinic one day and it
Yeah,
was your symptoms had flared,
yeah,
right?
that's true.
And
Yeah,
and the lights were down. I remember Adelie was walking you out, and I don't know if I said it then or we talked about it later, but it's like we that's actually helpful to really see and know so that we can work together. Like what happens in your nervous system
yeah,
when things get worse instead of better, and how can we build up, right?
that was helpful. Yeah, I mean, at first I was like, oh no, this is not good, because how are we supposed to make progress when I'm having all these, you know, flares this day? And I yeah, you and Adelie were like, no, this is good. This is okay, because that way we can we can work through this together. And so that made me feel better, because yeah, there were definitely times during the program where I was, you know, worried or like concerned, or you know, how am I going to do this at home when I get home, or what will I do without you guys? And there was a lot of that fear in the program, but I think the team was really good about helping me feel like, hey, don't worry, like we're going to get through this together. And you know, this is not, I remember you saying like, you know, just when you leave, it doesn't have to be goodbye, like we're still helping you. And like it was, I just felt really supported during the program, and that was really helpful for me. Just knowing that like it didn't all have to be figured out in the first week I was there. I think a lot of times, like in a traditional like medical setting, you don't get to go back that many times, so you kind of think, oh no, I need to figure this all out right now. And I think I was very used to that mindset of, okay, if I don't figure this out now, I have to like wait another month or something. And
Mm.
so having like that many appointments and knowing I would just be able to come back the next day like lowered my stress about like if I was having more pain one night, I could just kind of talk with you guys in the morning.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll figure it out
Yeah.
together. And like you said, I mean, I have to say, because we have these like channels online where our whole team talks together, and so I'm in your channel, and like I'm like, oh my gosh, one day there's no crutch, like where did
Oh
the
gosh,
crutch
yeah.
go, right? Like and so maybe if you can talk about like what did you see kind of progress wise, what changed for you functionally over that time?
Yeah, I mean, well, when I entered the program, I couldn't do anything without my crutches. I was completely dependent on the crutches because of the pain. And throughout the program, we started to where I could partially wait there. And then it moved to like using one crutch, and then like different surfaces are hard for me. So we were having to kind of like work up to that. And the foam mats were kind of like where we progressed that. And when I probably will never forget like the first time I took a step and my pain levels weren't like a 9 or 10. I remember looking at Harrison and everyone like, oh, I'm shocked. Like this is really happening. Like this is amazing. Like, and not being able, I've been leaning over crutches for so long, like almost 7 years. that I didn't know what to do with my hands. Like, what are we, you know, I felt like I need to hold something, which is probably also why I like holding the straw, because I'm just not used to holding the crutches. And so, um, the part in if anyone has like seen the video where, I think Julia posted, like, there's a part in there where I'm walking outside on concrete, and the concrete is really hard for me because the surface is so like non-forgiving, and just have had like a lot of pain on concrete. And so one of my goals was to try to like can we try to walk on concrete? I just like wanted to be able to do that again, and um, being able to do that was just amazing. There's a parking lot you guys have out there, and we tried to like walk towards Walmart, and we didn't actually make it into Walmart, but we did make it across the parking lot and back, and that was the most I'd walked on my leg on its own since 2011. Like, that was crazy to me. I was so mind blown. I think my hands were shaking, like I was having like an adrenaline rush from it. And Harrison and Julie were like high-fiving me, and that was probably like one of the best days I'll always remember, because it was just the progress like I so desperately wanted, and was like, I was like kind of feeling to myself like, this, like, Beth, this is why you held on for so long. Like, I was really glad in that moment that I hadn't given up, and I was thinking about all the people who had donated to my GoFundMe, and like just so grateful. I just felt so much like gratefulness for just like I wouldn't have been there without them, and this experience wouldn't have been possible. And so I just kind of like thought about all the people that had helped me, and so yeah, we just kept kind of progressing, and I got to where I could take steps without both my crutches, and that was amazing. Like, my doctor and my PT back at home were just shocked. I mean, everyone who knows me, a lot of people don't know me without crutches, like who I've met in the last 7 years, like they've never seen me without them. And so that's like a really big thing. Like, I'm not even used to seeing myself without them. It's just been so long, so.
Yeah. Your dog,
Oh my
right?
gosh,
Your
my
dog.
dog. Yeah, he has no idea what's going on. Yeah. He's shocked. He's really shocked.
Yeah, yeah. He's so used to those,
Hmm.
like, probably thought they were extra legs that you had,
Oh
you
yeah.
know?
Yeah, he's
um,
yeah.
yeah, that it is really it's incredible. I mean, I feel really lucky to just be here hearing your journey. And by the way, like, so many folks are sharing,
Oh,
I'm so glad you
yeah.
didn't give up. This is so awesome. You are awesome. This is great. Go, Beth, go. It's like the whole world is
Well,
cheering for you here. Folks also saying, like, such a good point, that fun was incorporated for you. And I think, this really resonated with me too, Beth, when you said you didn't know anything other than pain.
mhm.
And that Sarah said, I'm so glad you went to reactive and found techniques to navigate. Um, and so tell me what life is like
Oh my
now, because I also
gosh, yeah.
know for most folks, it's hard transitioning
Yeah.
back, right? We talked about it. I know
Mhm.
we talk about it, we prepare for it, but it's a transition, and
Yeah.
transitions are hard on the
Oh
nervous system.
gosh, it was so hard. Yeah, I mean, honestly, that last day I left reactive, you could ask my team. I was like bawling. I was crying so much, and I really don't cry, and I was crying so much. So I already felt like a lot of emotions, like just leaving the program, because it had been like so life changing for me, and I was really concerned about leaving, and but getting back, it took a little bit of time to like rebound from just the travel, and just getting back home after being gone for 6 weeks. I actually didn't even feel like my home anymore. I kind of missed my Airbnb. I missed the beach. I missed the ocean, and it took a little bit to get back, and I was having like increased pain, and that was concerning me. But I remember you and the team saying like, that's okay, it's normal, you got to like re-regulate and get back into being at home again. And so it was hard to get through those first couple of weeks. This is my third week home, I think, so this has been the best week, because it's kind of like, I've kind of gotten back into my groove, and I'm back working with my PT, and we're following like the discharge plan that you guys have made. But since I've been back, I don't know, I feel like almost like a different person. Like if we had done this live before, everyone would be very concerned about me. Like, I mean, I was just not in a good place. I just almost feel like a different person. My life just feels like I want to live again, and like I have like goals I want to make, I and that's because of you guys, and my pain levels are just, I'm able to like manage the CRPS is still there, but like I'm managing it differently. My nervous system, I'm like not fighting it like I was. And so yeah, I mean, for me, I think the biggest change really has been just like the overall whole body experience, and just not living in so much pain has greatly improved my quality of life. I've been able to take my dog Duke out for walks, for like short periods of time, and all my neighbors are like, "What is happening?" Because we've all been seeing you on crutches, and so I think it's been just, even my dog is looking at me like, "This is what we're doing now," like and so I'm kind of like just getting back into I'm following the plan that you guys wrote, and so like I'm just kind of working through that. But it's been, I don't know, I feel lighter. I feel like, honestly, like the light had just like gone out, for me before I entered this program, and then I just feel like you guys lit it back up, and I don't know, I feel just really happy about like where I'm at, and I feel like I have a path forward, and I don't fear the bad days as much as I used to. And I think with CRPS, there's so many ups and downs, and I think that's really challenging to live with, because you just don't know, like, if something gets worse, you can't just, I've learned to like not just force my way through it, and I think learning to like work with the nervous system is giving me like confidence that I can kind of work through this, and I have strategies that I can use that I didn't have before, and I think for me, that just I needed that, and like I needed progress. I needed to feel what it felt like to walk again, without crutches, with less pain, and to be able to achieve that, really just like, I just imagine if there was a light in my heart, like it just like came back on, and it wasn't on for so long.
Yeah, I think you are making everybody on this live, bringing us all to tears. And I don't think you got to meet Dana. She was here at the same time as you, and she was in West LA. And she joined us and moved back home. And she says living in your old home in a new body is a mind-boggling experience.
It is.
And you spoke to that so nicely, just even your neighbors going what, and your dog,
yeah.
and all
Yeah,
of that.
if my dog could cry, I mean, I'm sure he can't, like he's not like crying, but like I think he's definitely like shocked as well.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I don't know, the dogs get me every time. And folks saying your courage and bravery is beautiful, you deserve this light, and I think we all see that light right now, and I'm not the only one crying, so thank you, Sarah, for saying that. She's
oh, that's my friend Sarah. Yeah.
Sarah, thank you. Obviously you've been in a place, you've been on a long journey, as have many folks with neurologic disorders and pain. And, it sounds like at some point you were kind of like, I'm not sure this is going to get better.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you've shared a lot of hope with folks. But what might you tell someone who might be feeling discouraged? They've tried all the things and they haven't gotten better.
I would say I've definitely understand that. I've felt that too, and I think living with like something that's incurable, there's not a cure, there's not like a direct fix for it, is really hard, and you really have to be your own advocate like throughout your life now at this point. And so I think when you're going through something like that, you have to kind of try to, even though it's hard when things don't work out, you have to find a way to stay open to new treatments and things that are made available, because I mean, if I just closed down in 2011 and not thought about trying any other things after that, I think I mean, I definitely wouldn't be where I am today. I wouldn't have found that Exos Embrace that helped me. I wouldn't have found you guys. And so I think if you're feeling discouraged, it's like have hope that new things are always, you know, coming out with treatment wise. And especially over the last decade, I feel like a lot has changed. And also, I think I found that like there's hope in the nervous system being able to adapt. And I didn't know that like for a long time. I you know, if you read the literature and things that people put out about CRPS, it's like, oh, if you've had it this long, you're in this stage, or if you're in this, you know, if it's already gotten to this point, like there's no going back, and you might as well just write it off that there's nothing, you know, if this doesn't work. And I think just trying to stay open to trying new things. And I think there's definitely gonna be ups and downs. Like I said, I was in a real down period before coming to reactive, but if I look back over my life and like charted it, it was definitely like up and down. And I think in the moment it felt like it was everything was crashing. But there definitely were, I think just knowing that, you know, you can keep going. You just have to find that in yourself to pick yourself, you know, pick yourself up and keep going, and ask for help. Like that's, I kind of had to get to that place where I had to ask for help through the GoFundMe to be able to, you know, come here. And I think just knowing that it's okay to ask for help is also like just kind of getting comfortable with that too would be something I would recommend.
Yeah, that's not an easy one for people, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. What a great message for people. Now, on the other side of that, because we have a lot of clinicians, again,
Mm-hmm.
like PTs and OTs and psychologists, what, you know, what kind of message would you share for them if they're working with folks like you?
Uh, you know, honestly, I think if you're working with someone who has CRPS, like having that condition can be such a lonely and kind of like isolating, scary condition. And um, just like for me, knowing that someone was not going to give up and um, not going to give up on me if something didn't work, like kind of helped me to keep going. Because you know, leading up to coming to reactive, my PT, I had been working with him for several years. And um, even as, you know, as I got to, like, as things were declining and I wasn't doing well, he never once said, like, okay, see you later, you know, like, come back to me when you're doing better and we can get back to this. He said, you know what, like, I'm not gonna give up on you. We're gonna find something. And just like having him, you know, be there, like, as like, hey, you know, you're not doing this alone, like helped me to keep going. I honestly think I would have given up if Ben didn't keep trying to help me get to you guys. And I think during the program at Reactive, just knowing that there were many times that Harrison or Mike or Jenna come up to me and be like, Beth, it's like we're with you in this, you know. And I think for me, that was just really important. So I think if you can just like help someone feel like they're not in it alone and they're not on to like face it by themselves, like it just, I think that meant so much to me and was one of the reasons I didn't give up, you know, in this whole journey.
Yeah. Yeah, what a great message for us as clinicians to be with you in it, in the journey.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. Now, if you, so sometimes folks who we meet, like I got to meet you for a consultation, they say, you know, what I'm on the fence. I'm not sure. Do you have other people that you can connect me to? And we'll even send them your video. So if somebody is on the fence about doing a program like this at Reactive, what would you say?
Well, I could say you're definitely welcome to reach out to me. I mean, I'm happy to share my experience too if that would be helpful for someone. But I would say, if there's any chance that it could help you at all, like I would say to really, really consider it. Because I mean, even if I think, I think you have to kind of just think to yourself, is there any possible way this could help me? Because with CRPS, there's a lot of things you can try. And just going after it, I think, is just taking that first step. Show it to your PT, show it to your doctor if that would make you feel better. I mean, for me, it helped to kind of have that validation with my medical team, like they thought this was a great idea. And so if you can kind of take steps that would help you feel more comfortable taking that next step, I think that helped me a lot. And just being open to new experiences, and just going for it. I think you can't really make a mistake really with CRPS. I mean, in general, I think you worry about taking like the wrong step, or like, should I do this? But then again, if you don't take a step at all, where are you going to be? So I think just being willing to like take that step. You can't get worse. I mean, I don't want to like speak for everybody, but like there's no way you could. I think can only positive things can come from this, and I've kind of tried to approach my whole journey with that, like, is and just go for it, and you'll figure it out along the way. So that would be probably my best advice.
Hmm. I hear so much in you and you mentioned this in something kind of about the program too, was um, there's a lot less fear kind of around all of your symptoms and what's going to happen. And it's allowing you some freedom
Yeah.
to take some risks and try new
Yeah.
things.
When you drop the fear, I think there's just so much fear in like having to figure it out on your own with CRPS, or like you just kind of you've got to go to this specialist and this specialist and this one and you've got to like drive that yourself. And I think just like dropping the fear of um like having to get one outcome like out of something, or just knowing that, well, what am I going to do next? And what am I going to do after that if this doesn't work? And I think just kind of slowing that down and thinking, okay, let me just try this next step. And if that doesn't work, Mike helped me with this a lot, but he was like, if that doesn't work, you'll figure out the next step. You don't have to plan for the step after. I think I'm like someone who has been through, because I think I've had so many challenges, I almost want to over prepare. Like, if this doesn't work, let me have plan B already set up, because I don't want to waste time. And and so I think just knowing that, like, Mike helped me, like, I guess, find in myself, like, you already have the strength and the courage to keep going. Just but you don't need to plan it all out. Like, you will know, have faith in yourself that you'll know what to do at that next step. You don't have to like plan A, B, C, D, and D options if this doesn't work. And I think that really like lowered the fear level for me. It was like, okay, if I don't have this doesn't work, I'll just wait till I get to that point, and then I'll figure out what to do next. And I think if you kind of approach it with that way, but also having like kind of knowing that someone is there with you, like your PT, someone supporting you along that journey, just kind of like drops the fear level for me. It did.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like your words will resonate with so many people, myself included, that for the folks that are planners, or,
Yeah.
Don't want to take a misstep, or all of those things, that it can be hard to let go. And it's not just like somebody can say, let it go. And you're like, okay,
Right.
I'll just let it go, Like, it's
Oh, it's
not that
hard. Yeah.
easy.
It's not that
It's really
easy.
hard.
Yeah, especially when
Yeah.
I think like our brains are, when you're in fear mode, you want to plan for like a fallback option. But as Mike kind of helped me see over the program, it was like, that doesn't necessarily calm your nervous system to have to think about what I'll do next if this doesn't work. Like, I actually bought this thing. Actually, let me get it.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Just get all the things. And I love, this is so helpful, because I think in so many ways people think psychology is like you're sitting on a couch analyzing
Right.
things. And when you talk about what you brought home from these sessions with Mike, it's like you're in coaching
Yeah.
sessions and figuring things out. And it also sounds really fun and very calming. But
Very
show me
calming.
what you got.
Okay, so Mike, in line with what we were just talking about, he was, when I would like worry, well, what if I fail this program, or what if I don't get better, or what if I get better and then I get worse? And he would say, well, Beth, but what if it all works out? And so I bought this thing that says, what if it all works out? And I put it on my mantle, because I just wanted to remember that, because I think that's so true. Like, what if it does work out? Like, let's not plan for the fallback options. Like, let's just focus on what's happening right now. And like, I think that was also part of that, is like celebrating what's happening right now. Even if your symptoms get worse later, even if tomorrow's not a good day or you're having more pain, like what's happening right now, and like let's celebrate that. Let's focus on that. And I think for me that really helped me, because I was so used to like having all these setbacks and having to figure it out on my own, and just worrying like, well, I run out of time, am I gonna just break down, you know? And I think he was kind of saying like, hey, let's take a step back. What if it all works out, you know? And you'll know what to do, okay? So yeah, I this is like a good reminder for me.
Oh, I love that. I love that. I can't wait to tell Mike that you have this on your
Yeah.
mantle as a as a reminder. It's kind of like our whole that you mentioned the discharge plan. We write up a
Yes.
summary with
So
each of us
helpful.
and the pieces of the pie. Yeah, was that
My gosh,
I always
I
wonder
love
how
it.
helpful that is.
Yes.
I think it's helpful,
Yes.
but you found that helpful.
Oh my gosh, it's like my daily Bible. I look at it all the time. You know, like going back to work after being out during the program, like I had to kind of think through like how am I going to stay regulated throughout my day, and Jenna really helped me with planning that out before I left. So there's a lot of tools in there for like self-regulating the nervous system. And there's the whole like PT section on like how to progress and what to do for my homework. And so um I think that is so important, and everyone spent so much time making that. I'm just very grateful, because you can tell you guys put hours into it. Hours. I mean, it's like 30 pages long, and so it's so helpful for me. I keep it up. I like save it on my email, and I just like refer to it all the time. Like, oh yeah, what was that again? And or like in all the videos from the program, I can like refer back to, and just like make sure I'm doing like an exercise right, or there's like links to all the different documents and things like that. So it's been super helpful for me.
That's great. That is so great. I'm like our team like does pour into it, and
Yes.
they kind of build it the whole time that you're there. And it was something that I was like, Beth is going to use this. She's
Oh
going
yeah.
to definitely use this, and I'm
Yeah.
so glad because 6 weeks out of a time
Mhm.
period of like a 12 years plus, like that's just the beginning, right?
Right.
And you're going to keep going and keep progressing, and so you have the tools now, and you have a team too, a home team.
Yeah.
We're your away California team. You can come and visit us anytime.
I do miss the ocean. I was gonna tell you that, like, you know how the ocean was like awesome for me, and I got to do the surfing. Um, we were thinking about that before I left the program, and the team was like, "What can we do to help Beth like stay involved in the water?" Because the water was just so freeing. Like I felt so free on the surfboard, and I hadn't felt that alive in like so long. I remember they were like, "Oh, sorry, the water's hitting you in the face," and I'm like, "That is totally fine with me. I'll just swallow the water." Like I haven't lived this much in so long, and so like kind of because you don't have to stand or do anything, just lay on the board. I wanted to figure out a way to just be able to be. I think water is very healing, and I think it's helpful that your program is in such a healing environment. Um, I it's just the beach was so peaceful, and so back at home, one of the things we tried before I left the clinic though was Jenna cut out one of the foam pieces and put it on a rowing machine to see if we could get my foot to like tolerate that kind of pressure on a rowing machine, because she had done crew in college, and so she kind of knew how to like set it all up. And we thought maybe in Austin I could try just like going out on the water and see if I could maybe join crew or something that would be like that experience of being on water. So this weekend I'm actually gonna I'm meeting up with some of like the Austin crew people, and I'm gonna try to get on the water and see if like that will see if it feels okay for my foot. Um, but I don't know if you can see here. There's a keyboard. I've been playing the
Oh,
piano too. Yeah. Um, so I really took to heart like if you guys said buy this or help like if there was like a tool I could use. Like Harrison had, I did everything. Like anything you guys wanted me to do, I just wanted to do it, and I think it has all helped me. So like if there was an instruction or a tip or something, I'm doing it. Like I'm going to go try the rowing. I'm gonna do the piano. I'm gonna get the leaf. I'm gonna have all these tools. So yeah, I just try and do.
You are, but oh my gosh, you're gonna have to share how you do with the
Yeah,
crew.
yeah.
But I think it's so clear how much you are living and
Yeah,
just
I feel like
being
alive.
back.
Like, is this what it's
Yeah.
supposed to feel like? Because I wasn't feeling that for about 7 years. You know, I think almost went like dormant. If you can have like a dormant spirit or something, I feel more alive. And the last time I felt that way was when I got my exosim, like, and being able to have mobility again. And I just think mobility and not being in such like severe pain gives you back, like your spirit. And I just remember like feeling that, and it feels, yeah, I don't know, it's just like I can't even put it into words, like how much you guys have helped me. And um just the team that you made, and everyone. I wish I could give everyone a hug again. Like everyone was just so awesome, and it's so hard to leave. Now I know why I cried all the time when I left.
Oh, but like I don't think there's anything better from our team perspective to like see you going, and honestly you talk about the pie chart and the nervous system like a pro. I think you are a secret occupational therapist, maybe. You might have like a future career, Beth, but like there's nothing better than that, right? There's just nothing. um
Well, thank
and
you.
and and I just feel so thrilled to just be a very tiny part
Well, definitely a
of
big
the
part.
journey.
Yeah. Well,
um
I mean, if you hadn't been so open when I first reached out to you, I think that was like a big part for me. I was like, oh, she's nice. She like wants to talk to me. She was like welcoming. She wants to hear my story. Like you didn't just jump into here's what we're doing. Like you listened and you kind of heard my story, and that made me feel comfortable. Um, and just like the way you've set up the team, that was like everything I ever wanted, was to just be able to work on my leg for that many hours at a time with amazing people in an amazing place. And just to have my life changed by that much is something that, I don't know, I'll just hopefully continue on in this journey. And as Mike said, what if it all works out? I'm just going to take it day by day. And it's nice knowing that, like, even like I don't have to fight the nervous system like I was. I'm kind of like learning to work with it. And um it's like a process, like it's going to take time to still get to where I can be fully off my crutches and everything. But I have a path that I didn't have before, and I feel like God's just given me hope. And hopefully that helps someone else feel that hope too.
Yeah, yeah. I think you've helped a lot of folks. And I'm like, we could keep talking, Beth, and I've kept you on Instagram for an entire hour. This might be the longest time, but I love
I loved
hearing
it. Yeah.
what you're sharing, and I just want to like bottle it all up, and bring it to our team. So
Yeah, please
they'll
give
be
everyone a hug from me.
I will. They'll be so excited to hear, and you'll keep us posted. And that's the thing. We're not in Texas, but like we're here cheering you on. And actually, Harrison was like writing up your story and outcomes
Oh,
today.
awesome.
Actually,
That's cool.
so it's like we're
Yeah.
always here and always a part of um, what we see you doing. So
Well, thank you. And
so
thank you
thankful
for
for
like
that.
all you're doing. Is also for like just people with CRPS. I think just having this resource of a program like this, a lot of programs are not designed for that. And so I just thank you for doing this, because there are a lot of chronic pain type PT things, but there's not any CRPS ones like this that I could find. And I think I'm just very grateful that you go out of your way to like kind of even do what you do on social media and your full-time job as a PT and an instructor and all these things. Just like thank you for doing that, because people do find it, and like it does make a difference. If I hadn't found you, like that was because of you putting it out there and you making the team. So thank you.
Yeah, thanks so much, Beth. Well, you'll have to go back and read all of these comments cheering you on and supporting you. Mike
So nice.
Suter even said if there was a rapid fire continuous love button
Oh, that's
here,
nice.
I know, such great things. So thank you so much, Beth, for sharing your story, your journey, the highs and lows. I think that it's such an important piece of it. So, and
Thank you so
we'll
much.
stay in touch.
All
Thank
right. Thank you
you.
so
And
much.
all
I'll
right,
talk to
have
you
a good
soon.
night.
All right.
Okay,
Bye.
bye.